This is a podcast about both having autism and living with someone who has autism. My mom is Sonya, and I'm Josh, and this is Josh Has Autism.
Hey everybody, welcome to Josh Has Autism.
Hello.
Oh my gosh, Josh, this is the last one of the year.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Comes once a year?
Well, it's been a pretty crazy year.
Yeah.
It's been very crazy. You've been through a lot of stuff, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I barely remember the beginning of the year, honestly. It's just been a lot of things one after the other, it feels like.
Mm-hmm. A lot of back and forth to Florida and moving. Lots of moving.
Yeah.
For all of us. For all of us.
Yeah.
But Nana moved up here, brought them up from Florida in
When did that happen?
May.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I don't feel well, so that's why I'm staying away from you, way over here, because I haven't felt well for a couple of days. I have zero energy.
Yeah.
And a headache, just no appetite. I just want to sleep all the time.
Yeah.
And just don't feel well.
Yeah.
And your sister wanted me to get tested for COVID, and there's no places, there's no testing. Even the military, they're all booked up. You have to have appointments.
Wow.
And they're all booked up.
Wow.
And I don't want to go buy one from a store because this new variant apparently shows negative, even if you're positive. And so anyway, we've all been pretty sick. And well, Haley, your sister, was exposed to on Christmas Day.
Oh, wow.
She went over to her fiance's family's house, and her fiance's mom's boyfriend came and sat right next to Haley, and he was in positive. Didn't know it at the time, certainly, but got tested and he's positive.
Wow.
So she's been exposed, so I don't know what's happening. But anyway, I'm telling you that because I need you to talk a lot.
Okay.
On this podcast, please.
Okay.
Okay, go.
So, yeah, I mean, I've noticed, while I've talked to you today, that your energy levels are just way down and everything, so it's noticeable, even to me.
Yeah. As soon as we're done, I'm just going to lay down.
Okay.
Anyway, tomorrow is New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And I was going to go to the local comedy club and jump on stage for a guest set, and it would be so much fun. And clearly, because I don't feel well,
You can't jump anywhere.
I can't jump anywhere, but I'm not going to, do that when I potentially,
Right.
have something. So I'm going to stay at home.
Okay.
And do you have any plans?
Not really, no. I mean, I actually have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off work.
It's nice.
Yeah. So, work's been going really well, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me.
I mean, it's routine almost. There are... One of the things I've been doing on, sort of on my own, is that whenever there's nothing to do these last few weeks, like in between shelving the books, getting the books from the book drop, cleaning them up, and all that stuff. One thing I've been doing is I've been straightening the aisles of books, so that instead of on each shelf, instead of it being like not tossed on there or whatever, but making sure that the spines are all even on the out on.
That's so you.
Yeah, and so I've been doing that for a few weeks. I started in at the A's of the fiction books.
Why did you start there?
Because you have to start at the beginning.
Well, you don't have to. Why did you decide to start in the A's of fiction instead of non-fiction?
Because fiction books are right in front of the what's it called, the
Desk?
the front desk.
Mm-hmm.
And non-fiction is actually further away from the front desk than the fiction books. So today I finally got to the S's.
It's a long time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. So you took this initiative. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Does it look a lot better?
It does. It does.
You can really tell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that some of these authors have written so many books.
Like who?
A perfect example would be James Patterson.
Mm-hmm.
So each of our shelves has 6 portions of six rows or whatever.
You mean 6 shelves?
So yeah, 6 shelves with 6 group of shelves together.
Okay.
Per aisle. And James Patterson's books start on the 4th one up, and go to the next shelf on the right of it.
So
About and it ends about where it starts on that first shelf.
you have duplicates of the same book?
A couple.
Okay, so that's mainly different books.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good for him. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And there's so many different. There's like 3 or 4 of them there that have like that many. It feels like, or very close to it. So it's really cool, but it's like, oh my gosh, what do you do other than write?
That's pretty awesome.
It is.
Yeah, I saw a it was a something that you hang on your wall. So it's kind of like a plaque, but it's a picture kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was of this girl, and you can see her face, you can see her head, but instead of a brain, it was a library with all these books. And I thought of you, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's you entirely. Like you have these, bookshelves in your brain. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It just made me think of you. I also saw a coffee cup. You don't drink coffee, but it's a coffee cup with, it said library on the top, and it was just all these shelves of books all around
all wrapped around the cup.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Coffee cup. So maybe I'll get it for you. You can have hot chocolate. And, yeah. So I know that we often, recently anyway, we've been talking about your work.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to get tired of hearing about the same thing, but it feels like what you bring up each time is a different experience or a different emotion.
Yeah.
And a different way of doing something. And today, I think it's really cool that you took initiative and did something that made it look more appealing.
Yeah.
Even though nobody asked you to do that.
Right. I mean, part of our job is to make sure that the books are in order and everything else like that. Because people will pull a book off, look at the title, and then put it back where they think it goes, but it doesn't always go there.
Right. I've done that where I take it off and where did this come from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what we do is if it's in the wrong spot, we usually take it down and make sure that it's not actually checked out or anything. because there have been cases apparently in the past where people find a book that someone else had accidentally left there, and it turns out that person that had left it there had already checked it out, but it wasn't checked back in.
Oh, yeah, got it.
So yeah, and I mean today, for example, there were, in the first hour of being there at work, I found 8 different books from around the library that had the spine at the back of the shelf.
They just turned around completely.
Yeah, it's so weird. And I'm like asking,
you're thinking, what are people doing?
Yeah, and I mean, there's another person that comes around. We don't know who it is, but someone is coming into the library and pushing the books all the way back. So much so that they're falling off the backs of the shelves. And it's like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, does it?
No, but yeah, it's different.
Have you been really slow there lately?
The first day back after Christmas, it wasn't slow per se, but it was, there was more things to do than normal, but it wasn't necessarily overwhelming or anything. It was just a lot of stuff to do. As the week continued up to today, like today, I only worked for 4 hours today, but I did the book drop, which is picking up the books from that people drop off. I picked them up a couple of times, and I got maybe 15 books total.
And that's a low number?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
So it's usually pretty piled high, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I went from the M's in the library, in the fiction section, to the S's today. So it was pretty slow.
Yeah, yeah. And you have been sick also. You didn't feel well.
Yeah.
You're, and
I got better.
You got better. You got better. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you have no plans for New Year's Eve?
No, actually I don't.
You usually don't really celebrate New Year's Eve, do you?
Not
pretty
really.
Much stay home and...
The only times I've really celebrated it was whenever I was little. Or not little, but younger. Or...
With us.
Yeah, with you guys.
Yeah.
Or I was going with you to one of your shows.
Yes. I've always loved having a show on New Year's Eve. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And for a number of reasons, I always end up being at a place with some great comedians that I really enjoy. The places are nice to stay, and they feed us.
Yeah.
So it's always been really nice. Just the food is above and beyond because it's New Year's Eve, and but you've been to quite a few shows with me.
Oh my gosh! And throughout the years, so many.
Yeah, because it's really strange to not work. For me, it's really weird not to work New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, I'm not tomorrow because I don't want to. Just in case, just out of precaution.
Yeah.
I don't want to share this with anybody. And I don't feel well enough to get up there anyway.
Yeah, you can't jump up there.
I can't jump up there. So, yeah, and I miss that. And next year, that's my, we'll do it again, New Year's Eve, and you come along.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
So a lot of good things have happened to you this year. I'd just like to recap just a couple of things. One, you, and none of this was easy, but you went through a trial of multiple different medications until you found the combination, or your psychiatrist found the combinations that work for you.
Right.
And so that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Something
was,
that
was
you
it
had
was
been...
it was it this year as well that I had that the was it genetic testing or what?
that was the year before. That was in 2020.
Okay.
But that did let us know what worked for you and what didn't. That's the thing called gene sight.
Yeah.
Gene sight. But yeah, so you went through an awful lot with that, and there were some highs and some lows with that. This medication change.
Yeah.
It was rough on you.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because you had to
I mean,
find.
it always is whenever a medication is changing.
Mm-hmm. But you had the right medication, the right dosage, and then you had multiple medications, so it just was really difficult for you to find that balance that you need.
Yeah.
To be successful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's a big deal. You have, you've been talking about, but this year has been an awful year for a lot of people. It has been so difficult because COVID, you like being by yourself, and you are very comfortable in your own space, and you don't feel lonely, I would say, right?
Well, I can feel lonely, but for the most part, you're right. I can just be on my own and be okay. Not on my own, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And a lot of people have been, away from everybody else because of everything is shut down. People have lost jobs, businesses have closed.
Yeah.
Look, even talking about the gigs, like my first gig in next year is on the 8th. And while I'm doing that, while I'm gearing up to get back in, I have gigs booked regularly now.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder about it because friends of mine that have gigs booked are now being canceled because of COVID. And so I'm hoping that everybody is safe and healthy, and that we can continue on and they don't get canceled.
Yeah.
But so the week after, the new year, here we go.
Yeah.
And I'm scheduling stuff for you too. Probably not till February.
Okay.
But so working on that. But this virus just has changed the way that we do things.
Yeah.
And for you, I'm saying you are more comfortable by yourself than I'm kind of a person. I do need my time alone, but I really enjoy family.
Yeah.
I enjoy friends.
Yeah.
So
with me,
and also we have the house. The way I feel, we have the kind of house where people do not have to call before they come over.
Right.
And I'm okay with that.
Right.
Sorry about that noise, everyone. Our Pappy is in there putting dishes away, and so it's really loud for us. I hope it's not loud for you.
Yeah.
And I appreciate him putting them away.
Yeah.
It means I don't have to, and you don't have to.
Right.
So
right.
that's good.
Yeah.
But,
one thing I would like to, I don't know if I've actually said this before or not, but while I do like being with you guys, but for the most part on my own,
mm-hmm.
there are times where I just want to be social, which is weird, really weird, but
I can see that because there's a board game that we really like playing called Sequence.
Mm-hmm.
And we can have up to, you can have 2 teams.
Mm-hmm. You have to have 2 teams.
We have up to 3 people on each team, so there's 6 of us playing at different times. But I can tell when we play that, you're really good at it. You're fun, you're enjoyable.
Yeah.
Because when things are happening, you'll talk and
Yeah.
and so I can tell that there are times that you really do enjoy being around everybody, and I think it's always been the way that it is. You're very kind and considerate, and I was just talking to you about you to Nana, and what she said is Nana's, how I say it. Nana, I don't even know how to say it. She can be,
Insightful?
insightful. That wasn't the word I was going for, but let's go with that one. Because Nana speaks her mind.
Yes.
And sometimes it's not real pretty. But, well, what she did say about you is how you are the kindest person that she has ever met in her entire life. And I agree with that. I agree with that completely. And I think the people with autism that I have met are genuinely good people. There are other circumstances that cause
Issues?
outbursts,
Yeah.
or issues, or non-compliance, or But look, that's a word that I don't like.
Non-compliance?
No, compliance.
Oh, yeah.
I it's not really me, right? So
Right.
you being non-compliant is just like, I remember through the years, people would say, well, he won't do this and he won't do that. I'm like, well, why?
Why is that an issue?
Is it hurting anybody that he's doing it his own way? And I even went to bat for you when you refused to show your math homework.
Not the homework, just the work on the homework.
The process.
Yes.
You just refused. And you would say, look, I look at it, I see it, and this is the answer. And the teachers would say, yeah, but
how did you get to that?
How did you get to that? We need to see the work. And you would struggle and struggle, and it was a fight.
Yeah.
I mean, you would just not do it. And I would go back to them and say, he can see it in his head.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to them, are the answers correct? Yes, they are. But he needs to show the work in order to get full credit.
Yeah.
That was so difficult.
Yeah.
I understood what they're saying is because
they want to make sure...
They were teachers. They needed to know that you understood the process.
Yeah.
And if you didn't show it, there's no way of them knowing.
Right.
That.
What I find funny in that situation though, mm-hmm. was that I would find different ways to get to the correct answer. That the teachers were like, "How did you do that?"
It reminds me. I don't know if you saw an episode with us. There's a show that was a series that's been on. It's called The Queen's Gambit. And it's about...
chess.
Yes. And she is brilliant at this. And up on the ceiling, she sees the pieces moving, where they're going to go. and so nobody else saw that, but she saw that. And I thought about you every time they did that. In that you see the workings of things like math.
Mm-hmm.
You see where they go, and that's how you get the answers.
Yeah.
I don't think you see it on the ceiling, but
no.
But you see it, and that's how you get there.
Yeah.
And I just think that that's pretty amazing. But I do want to make sure that, people on the spectrum, they often have a diagnosis along with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, autism diagnosis, but then, like you have a diagnosis of depression, of anxiety, OCD, which I think it's not so
it's minor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so people have other diagnoses along with autism. And so it's like Dr. Ogilvy always said, that quote that she has, have you seen one person with autism? You've seen one person with autism. I get that entirely. But I would say, overall, your friends that I've met and the people in the groups that I've met, there's a struggle that takes place. But there's just I don't know. I just think it's magic. I do, in a most loving, appealing way, which is that you, along with your friends, something happens. There's like this spark that is just really awesome. It's just, and this kindness. Your friends are kind, and once you get with one another, you laugh easily. And you don't take yourself so seriously.
Right.
None of you don't take yourselves seriously. and so laughing about yourselves and one another is commonplace, and you're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that's really cool, because a lot of people, their ego will get in the way of laughing at themselves.
Right.
Or they will take something personally, or, get offended. And, so I just think that I'm glad that Nana verbalized how awesome you are when she was talking to me. It made me feel really good, because you are. And you don't always get that recognition. Certainly not from her, but just in general. And the reason I'm bringing that up, this up, is that there's been there are things that have happened with you this year that really have allowed you to shine. And so we're talking about New Year's Eve tomorrow. So it's going to be a new year. It's going to be 2022. But this year, you have accomplished an awful lot. And you have figured yourself out. You have worked very hard through some tough situations. And it makes me, as your mom, feel so good to have your Nana see you for who you truly are. The job that you have, the people at the library recognize who you are and want you there, and are grateful for you. And people at D&D like you being there and want you to come and be a part of it.
Yeah.
I just am really proud of you, and I just want you to know that I recognize that you've had a year that's kind of up and down, and as usual for you, you keep coming back. Like you're plugging along, you're working through stuff.
Yeah.
So so even your setbacks that say, I need by myself for a while.
Yeah.
Which just you need that. I'm just proud of you.
Thanks.
I do not feel well.
All right.
At all.
So why don't we go ahead and wrap this up then?
Well, I would love to hear if there's anything that you want to talk about.
The only thing I can really think of wasn't even necessarily related to autism.
Okay.
It was just one of my coworkers told me today, "Happy New Year's, Adam." Because apparently his pastor or whatever said that Adam came before Eve, and then that's how I don't really understand the relation to the holidays and stuff like that with Adam and Eve, but I mean like Christmas Eve, like Merry Christmas Eve. The day before we were working together, he said Merry Christmas, Adam. And then today is the day before Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve, so he said Happy New Year's, Adam.
Huh.
So
I don't know.
yeah.
I know that Adam and Eve were from the Garden of Eden, and they were the first guy and the first woman, and
No, I don't know.
I don't know. I do think this though. I think that
It
it reminds me, like, the reason Eve needed to, come along is that, so if you, there was a study that was done not too long ago that shows that married men live longer than unmarried men. And my theory is that it's because a married man has somebody there next to them saying, "Don't do that."
Yeah.
So they live longer.
Yeah.
So I think probably Eve was a necessity. That's what I think about that. But I never heard that your coworker is saying.
Yeah. It was unique.
Yeah. So, Happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Yeah. And hope we have an awesome 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody out there listening, we appreciate you hanging out with us this year. We have been really with it sometimes and out of it others, and so we appreciate you hanging out with us though and sticking with us, and we hope that you have a wonderful New Year's Eve, and
New Year's, and
yes, that your new year 2022 is kind to you, that you're healthy and happy, and the things that you want for yourself happen in next year.
Yeah.
So, anyway, are you good, Josh? I'm about wiped out, so...
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody, thanks for listening. If you could, please give us 5 stars. It helps us to be seen more often. Please visit us at our website, sonyaking.com, sonyaking.com. And you can let us know from there if there's anything you'd like for us to talk about or anything like that.
Yeah. Sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Love you.
Bye.